What's going on, everyone? Dr. Joe. So I like to read a lot. I love to read about the industries I'm in, obviously solar right now. I'm always reading books about marketing, business, this, that, whatever. And I found a couple articles that we're gonna link so that you can read them too, but I just wanted to address them for you and kind of go into a little bit of detail. There's a lot of information out there about solar, and some is meant to spin you in a certain direction, or most of the time it's companies that are getting you this information because they want you to go with them, which, yeah, I'd love to work with you and show you what my company, Sunrun's, able to do for you. But at the same time, if you don't, that's okay. As long as you follow some of the rules I'm gonna outline for you today and understand what you're reading, you'll make an educated choice that's best for you. My company's not always the best for you. Some companies might be better off for you, but you need to know what you're looking at. So the first article is July 25th, 2016. Put the link in there. 10 things to know before going solar. So the number one thing is make sure you know your utility rates. So this is from 2016. Utility rates have changed a lot in the last 7-8 years. We've been going through a lot of different economic crises, especially with COVID and people being home more often and using the grid a lot. Rates have gone through the roof. Specifically, what they're trying to let you know is there's different tiers. So in New Jersey, when you read your electric bill, it's usually gonna break it down for you. For the first X amount of kilowatt hours, they're gonna charge you a certain amount, and then above that, they'll charge you a different amount, and above that, they'll charge you a different amount. That's tiered pricing. So what you need to know is what tier you're in right now, because a lot of the times when you're going solar, you're not only saving the direct money by switching your electricity to them, but you're also saving all of those extra tiers in the months you're not even thinking about. Most of the time, summer months, you can be tiered up pretty high. So if you're just looking at your most recent bill, which might be in like April, and you're only at tier 1, you're actually saving a lot more money than you think if you were to take into account those other tiers that come in the summer. Get an accurate idea of the amount of energy you use. Yeah, get an accurate idea. Even better, you can find out. Your utility has it on your bill. In New Jersey, JCP&L has your average monthly at the bottom. PSE&G will tell you what you used per day on average in each month. And Atlantic City Electric also shows you your monthly usage. So that is the best way to know what you need for your home. It'll give you your last 12 months, and that's what we're required to build off of. You don't have to have a south-facing roof. So this was in 2016. For them to say that in 2016, it was pretty bold. The panels back then really weren't that phenomenal at collecting sun. Obviously, technology gets better over time. They're twice as conductive today than they were, but it is true. You do not have to have just a south-facing roof. It could be west, it could be east. It typically can't just be north, but you never know, depending on the angle of the roof. But that's why it's important to not assume anything about your home. And if you are looking into solar, to do a little bit more research than just Googling your home in one of those programs that'll show you how much sun you get, this, that, whatever. No, sit with a company, or 2, or 3. Compare the designs and see what actually makes sense for your home. Each part of your roof is gonna be able to conduct a little bit more sunlight than other parts and produce a little bit more electricity for your home, and overall make your yearly usage hopefully completely covered by your roof. Solar will not add to your property tax. This is true. A lot of times when people knock your door, they tell you solar is going to add value to your home. Yes and no. It's a perceived value. So what I like to tell everyone is when you upgrade your kitchen, just because you did new countertops and cabinets, your value of your home didn't go up, your taxes didn't go up. But when you go to sell that home, it's going to sell for a little bit more than the home next door because of the upgrades you did. Think of solar like that. So yeah, taxes don't go up, but it can typically give you a little bit more value on your home when you resell, especially in a state like New Jersey. Studies have been showing that. Learn about the warranties. This is probably the most important thing I want to talk about, is the warranties, which is number 5. And then also, yeah, they don't even talk about company in particular, but they do within this. So the company that you're working with is super important when it comes to the warranties. All of the panels typically have a 25-year warranty. Sometimes the inverters have a 25-year, sometimes it's 10. It also depends what program you're gonna be doing. If you wanna buy your own solar system, these warranties are typically not as good. Similar to like when you buy a car. Yeah, you get a little bit of warranty in the beginning, but if you're gonna keep that car for a long time, warranties run out and you pay for things. Vice versa, a lease of a car, which solar has leases that you can get into. In New Jersey, we don't call it that. There are different programs, but works similarly, that it's completely covered for the time that you're in that agreement for that lease or that PPA in New Jersey. So understanding the warranties is very important because you need to know what you're on the hook for if something were to break or anything like that. Also to know not to mess with it. If it's completely covered by the company, don't mess with it. You can void your warranty. So understanding what the warranty covers and what could make you void it. How long do they last? Rooftop solar, for the most part, the newer end of it's probably somewhere around 16 years, but solar panels have been around for a long time. So we like to make a good estimate of about 30 years. Will they last longer than that? They could. If they don't get pounded with sun too much or they don't get hit with too much weather, they might last longer than that. But they do lose efficiency over time. Typically 0.5% is what we kind of prorate into any agreement we do, so you understand. So over those 30 years, you lose 0.5% a year. Yeah, you're gonna start having an electric bill towards the end, so it might be a good time to look into either upgrading, removing and getting a new system, or maybe you just need a couple extra panels to suffice for that extra energy you need. Number 7, solar panels will not harm your roof. So the number one thing we hear is people don't want them on the roof. And the number one reason why is they don't want holes in the roof. So first things first, I talk to a lot of roofers. My father-in-law is in roofing. Residential roofs already put holes in your roof. When they're up there, they're stapling and nailing all those shingles into your roof. You already have holes. If you ever go into your attic and you go up too fast, you're gonna hit your head on a nail. You went through a hole to get there. Typically, when we put solar on the roof, in order to make it secure, we go into the rafters with our systems, and we have kind of self-sealing and all of these things that, you know, do the best to prevent leaks as best as possible. So there's not gonna be any more holes in your roof when we leave. There might actually be less, because a lot of the times a company, especially our company, will seal up any holes they see while they're up there, or resecure some shingles and make things a little bit better before they leave. So at the end of the day, thinking it's gonna damage your roof is a falsehood. That's not true. Most of the time, it's actually gonna improve the quality of your roof, and if anything, help the shingles last longer. Now, speaking of roof, the type of roof you have could impact the cost. Not every racking system or the way we secure the panels to the roof works on every different type of shingle. There are more decorative shingles, there's metal roofing, there's tile. So all of those may have a little bit different of a system that have an extra cost in order for us to get the panels up there. Or you might not even be able to go solar at all due to some of those roofing, due to the different roofs you might have. So that is something that you need to discuss with whoever you're sitting with or multiple companies and see who's gonna be able to give you the best fit. Like I said earlier, most of the time in New Jersey, we don't typically work on metal roofs. We're very specific on metal roofs, has to be perfect. We can do designer shingles. We typically stay away from tile. We try to do comp shingles. So if you have a comp shingle roof, you're good to go. It's their standard roof. If you don't, we probably won't be able to help you as best as possible, so we might not be the best company for you. You should insure your solar investment. So 100%, if you own the panels, you need to put these panels on your homeowner's policy, because if you don't, they're not covered by anything. You can run into some issues down the road. The cost to put them on, typically based on what we're seeing, is anywhere between like 10 to 20 bucks a month on top of what you already pay. It's just an adder. Nothing crazy. The insurance companies will not refuse to insure you because of them. They will insure them. It's just gonna cost you a couple $100 extra a year, which is well worth it. Now, depending on the program, if you're in a PPA program, you can actually double dip. You get an insurance policy from the company themselves. So my company, if you do our no-cost program where you don't own the panels, you're just paying for a better electricity bill, we'll cover the insurance. We'll put our own on. You can still also add it onto your homeowners that, you know, cover the back end. God forbid certain things aren't covered by their insurance and you want it covered by yours. That's what I would typically tell everyone to do. And solar batteries mean no rebates. This is in 2016, not anymore. Batteries actually do add on to the rebate that you can get from the federal government. They don't do anything for state incentives. If your state has them, New Jersey does, but the federal government does have a tax incentive, and the batteries do qualify for that now. What they're saying in this article is if you go completely off grid, so if you're not tied to the electric grid at all, you get no rebates, and that's true for the whole system. The reason the federal tax rebates work is because the federal government, it wants to take some electricity off the grid for homes. So they know how much electricity is coming off the grid based on how much you're registering through the meter into the grid. So as long as you're doing that, you qualify for those rebates. And like I said, majority of the time, especially my company, the only way we do it is tied to the grid. There's programs that allow them to store that energy for you at no additional costs when they need to give it back to you. As always, if you have questions or anything, reach out. Thank you.